Ooh, welcome back to Undefendable, where we talk about dice thrown game strategies, quick guides, and how to play like a pro. We are going to be doing the Barbarian today. One of the easiest entry level champions or heroes you're going to find in the game. His strategy is relatively straightforward. He doesn't really have a lot of decisions that you have to make, and he just wants to bash the opponent's skull into dust. And that's why I love playing the Barbarian. Now, this guide would not start off right if we didn't go over the leaflet or his status effects. First one is concussion, which is one that you put on the opponent. It's a negative status effect where it makes them skip their income phase. So they do not draw a card or gain a CP, and then you remove this token. The second one, which is really good, is stun. So if you put stun on one of your opponents, at the end of your offensive roll phase, you remove the stun, and then you do another offensive roll phase. So a player afflicted with this token may take no action of any kind. No cards may be played. No defense may be made. No status tokens or passive abilities may be used. After the attack concludes, the player who is inflicted with stun removes the token and then immediately targets the same opponent with an additional offensive roll. So basically, you get them with stun, and then you just do your stuff, and then you roll again. So you get another roll phase. So really, really good stuff there. His strategy is relatively straightforward. He wants to do a lot of damage very, very quickly. If you're playing against an opponent who has really strong defense, Barbarian may struggle because a lot of his stuff is defendable. That said, he does have undefendable options. But the main kit for Barbarian is you're going to want to roll sixes, keep sixes, and then use sixes to roll into more powerful abilities. You can upgrade his cards to make him stronger and find more options, which is really good. He has virtually no economy, so again, very straightforward. I would say the main roll objective you're going to roll into a lot is overpowered, is kind of like your main opportunity. If you do not roll a 6 on your opening roll, you're likely going to be going for a small or large straight. Fortitude is a good fallback if you're playing against heroes that don't do a ton of bursty damage, or heroes that that try to chip away at you. Fortitude can be pretty decent as a fallback. His dice are right here. He has 3 swords, 2 life, and then number 6 is a POW. And then lastly, his defense is thick skin. You're relatively going to be getting two heals every defense, so you're mitigating 2 damage. Sometimes it pops off and you're mitigating 4 to 6 every turn, which is great. The upgrade is also really, really good as well. That said, before I go over some of the upgrades, I'll kind of show you what the first couple of rolls would look like. So when it's your first turn, you're going to take the dice, you're going to roll them. Bam. That's what you're looking for, right? You already have 2 sixes. Depending on the cards in your hand, you're either going to want to push for a crit bash or an alt here. But let's say the cards in your hand aren't that great. You're always going to want to settle back into overpowered, which is roll 3 dice, then deal damage equal to the total roll value. If the roll value is at least 14, inflict concussion. So let's go ahead and we're going to lock in overpowered on our first roll. And that is a fantastic roll. So we would be doing 6, 12, 17 damage based on that roll and inflicting our opponent with a concussion. So Barbarian can do very big damage very, very quickly. I think his large straight upgrade is the best large straight upgrade in the game. If you're versing an opponent who has a very strong defense, his small straight upgrade is very good. It goes from 9 defendable damage down to 8 undefendable damage, which again is really good against an opponent with strong defense. So that was pretty good. Let's go ahead and do another roll. Here's a good one, right? So we don't see any 6s. So we're probably not going to try and chase the mini alt, the alt, or overpowered here. And we have 3, 4, 4, 3, 4, which is kind of awkward, right? If we had like a 3, 4, 5 or a 2, 3, 4, you would want to keep that open-ended. And depending on my matchup, what I'd likely do here is keep these 3 to have fortitude and then roll. And then, again, depending on my cards in hand, I'd probably lock in the heal 5 there and just go with it. Let's go one more roll. Okay, here's a great example. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's already 9 damage. I'd probably throw it back for 1, see if I can get the 5. I don't. I would lock in the small straight mighty blow for 9 on my second roll in order to either bait my opponent to use dice mods, or they're just going to take 9 damage, and it's going to hurt real bad. All right, so that's really how you play him. Let's go up to some of his cards. I've somewhat sorted these out into what I think is the best and then what doesn't necessarily need to be upgraded. The best large straight upgrade, or one of the best large straight upgrades of the game, is his upgrade here, which is Reckless 2. Deal 20 defendable damage, receive 5 damage in return. That is fantastic. 20 damage. Upgrade this every time, every chance you get it. Thick Skin is also very good. You get an additional die roll, and then if you roll 2 hearts, you would also prevent an incoming status effect, like a burn or a poison or things like that. So very, very good upgrade. These are 2 that you're going to want to upgrade immediately. Crit Bash is good, and the reason I say it is you do get 2 extra damage on your undefendable and inflict the stun. You really are not going to do Crit Smash very often, so this is one that you could sell, but for 2 extra damage, if you have the CP, it might be worth it because you're going to be keeping a lot of 6s. Same thing with Fortitude. It's situational. Healing against a chippy hero, let's say like Spider-Man maybe, or like chippy heroes. This is going to be really nice, and if you get 3 of a kind, you can remove status effects from yourself. Again, relatively matchup based, but still a very, very good one. Mighty Blow, this is the small straight, and I'll bring it down here to show you guys. This is where if you're versing a matchup where the opponent has really strong defense, I would upgrade this in a heartbeat because it goes from defendable to undefendable for 8, which is really, really, really good in those strong defense matchups. Sturdy Blow, if you have the CP, they're cheap enough, going from 4 to 6 for 2 CP or 4 to 5 for 1 CP, you might as well. Not too expensive for the extra little chippy damage. And then lastly, Smack 3 can completely change your entire game plan, right? If you get Smack 3 early on, you go from 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, but if you're rolling 4 of a kind, the attack becomes undefendable. So you could be doing 10 undefendable damage, which is absolutely insane value. So these are ones where I would still upgrade them. If I find these, I'm going to upgrade them because that's a lot of damage. That is like small straight damage for 50% dice rolls, right? And then lastly, Overpower. Warcry is not worth anything. You're going to feel really bad if you have to do this ability out of your entire board. Not worth it. And Overpowered, you're going to inflict concussion for 2 CP. You can do it, but it's not the best upgrade that I would recommend. Smack 3, Mighty Blow against defensive characters, and then Reckless and Thick Skin are the upgrades you're going to want to hunt for and find and to use immediately when you get them. Lastly, he only has 4 unique cards. Head Bash is great. You inflict 8 damage if you do inflict concussion. I want to mention this is 8 after the opponent rolls defense. So if you do like 10 and they prevent 3 and you only do 7, Head Bash does not work. And you would think with his kit, getting 8 damage to your opponent after their defense concludes would be easy, but it's not that easy. So a lot of times this just kind of sits around in your hand and you sometimes use it and you sometimes don't. If you need CP late game, this is one that you can definitely sell. Concuss, it's fine. You give your opponent concussion for 1 CP. You know, they either have to spend a CP or a card. So it's like a trade-off. It's not that great of a card, but, you know, why not? If you want to use it, you can. If you have the CP, if you're not trying to bluff your opponent with the So Wild or something, this is a card you could use to inflict concussion, especially if you're trying to starve them of CP, right? Feeling good, roll 3, heal at least 1, and then +2, potentially healing 7. You're likely going to heal at least 3. For 0 CP, obviously use it. You can hold on to this late game and use it for 0 CP because it is an instant. So if you're on like Death's Door and you have 7 health and they hit you for 9, this is a card you can bust out, and if you roll a heart, you've now healed 3. If you rolled 3 hearts, you've now healed 7. So this can be kind of a sneaky little card towards the end of the game. And then get some for 2 CP, roll 5, and then deal additional damage. Really good, and then inflict concussion. You can also pair this with Head Bash. So not much more to go over with the Barbarian. Really straightforward hero and really straightforward roller. Let's do one more roll just for the giggles. Bam. Overpower roll 1. Gonna lock that in every time. But let's say I got some dice mods in my hand and we want to get frisky. Oh, baby. I'd probably just lock in Crit Bash there. Unless I'm like CP rich and I can mod this to a 6. I'm going to lock in Crit Bash, get the stun, go into my next roll. And here's a good example. I'm probably just going to keep the 6 here. And roll again. We got another 6 with the 1s. This is kind of interesting depending on where I'm at. Sturdy Blow for 4 undefendable's fine. I'd probably throw this back in. Yeah, and then I would just go Sturdy Blow. So guys, thanks for watching. This was a quick tutorial and play like a pro as the Barbarian. This was the champion that I learned how to play. So if you are new to the game and just learning the basics, I really recommend picking up the Barbarian. He's fun, he's explosive, he's not complicated, and I really, really love playing him. So if you're still watching, like, comment, subscribe. Really appreciate you logging in and checking out the channel, and we'll come back with more guides soon. Talk to you soon.